Welcome, everyone. And thank you for attending today's Redfish 2025.1 release webinar. My name is Jeff Otter with Hewlett-Packard Enterprise. I'm one of the co-chairs of the DMTF Redfish Forum. And with me is Mike Ranieri. Mike, say hi.
Hi, I'm Mike Ranieri. I'm from Dell Technologies, and as Jeff said, I'm the other co-chair of the Redfish Forum.
All right, so we're going to jump right in to the Redfish release 2025.1, which came out at the end of March. I believe public availability was about 30 days after. So here's the summary of the release. There was a minor revision to the Redfish specification. It added one new feature, a new query parameter, which we will talk about in a minute, called includeOriginofCondition. That was the only addition. There were actually no other errata pieces for the spec this time. And then the main focus of the release, as always, is an update of the schema bundle. So this is released version schema release 2025.1 from the DMTF website. That is DSP 8010, and that contains the zip file with all of the Redfish schemas in all the formats that are supported. The other part of this release activity includes the message registry bundle, again, version 2025.1, and there were some messages added regarding password-related errors, and we will talk a little bit about that because of the schema additions. And all of the DMTF defined message registries are contained in the DSP 8011 bundle that can be also downloaded. We'll have links to that at the end. So in this release, the bulk of the material is in updated schemas. There are release notes in the bundle that go through all the erratas and all the individual any other additional property additions or changes. Sorry, not changes, additions, clarifications, and so forth. We will not go into all those details on the webinar, but they are exhaustively documented in the release notes. So the highlights in that set of updates include support for describing password complexity requirements. There is some clarification and some properties added to port to explain the configured speeds and widths, and then a new security mode property and manager and some related components to that for showing advanced security mode configurations. So to get into the details, the first topic is around user account or manager account password complexity guidance. So there are just an awful lot, it is said on the slide here, a myriad of password complexity rules and concepts. We did not, as we had looked at this many times over the years, it just did not appear that we would ever get to a methodology that could be expressed in schema or in a JSON or a RESTful interface fashion to explain what the requirements are for the password. There were just too many options, and that even if we did find something, we decided that it was going to be just too unwieldy to actually use, and therefore would be unlikely to be adopted. So we did still want to make these rules at least discoverable by humans. So we've added some support here to try to address this, in a reasonable fashion. So there were two properties added to AccountService because assuming that the complexity requirements are done at the AccountService level, they're not applied on a per account basis. Excuse me. So the first property is a password guidance message. This is just an open text string that the vendor can provide that explains to the user what those requirement rules are. The second property is a password guidance message ID. This is a reference. This is the message ID and effectively a reference to a message in a OEM specified message registry that provides that text that was shown in the password guidance message. If that sounds duplicative, it is, but the ID is effectively a file, a pointer to the message registry, so that if the manufacturer or the service authors wish to provide multiple language support, you're able to go do a lookup based on message ID and find it from the registry. So those are the two properties, and let me show you an example, which hopefully makes this a little clearer. Uh, my pointer here. So here we are on account service, and so here are the two new properties. So first, start with the password guidance message. So you can see here that this is giving text that could be displayed on a user interface or in response to a failed password attempt, a failed change attempt. So describing those rules in human speak, and then the guidance message ID is here pointing to this OEM defined Contoso service message registry and giving the ID called password complexity. So someone can look this up or an application can look that up in a registry and then can use the registry methodologies for applying different language support. And like I said, this we hope is enough to at least be able for users to find the information. We didn't expect this to be consumed by software directly, anyway. And we hope that that at least is better than giving users no information and then just having them try and fail until they go look up some actual documentation. All right, now I'm going to hand it over to Mike for the remainder of the new updates.
All right, thanks, Jeff. So as we indicated earlier, there's a new query parameter defined in the specification called includeOriginOfCondition. The reason for this addition is today in the post-back event notifications, you're allowed to set subscriptions to include the origin of condition as an expanded reference. And so that way, when you get an event back about some sort of alert or other condition, you also have the resource in question, so you don't have to go do a subsequent get operation afterwards. When looking at SSE, there is no way to specify that, and so we added a new query parameter just to do that. So when you do a get operation on the SSE URI to start up your event stream, you now have this new include origin of condition query parameter to tell the service as you're pumping data out through the SSE stream, if there's when you send an event, also expand the origin of condition. We also saw value in allowing this as a more general usage in get operations. And so there are other properties in the data model when you're doing things like inspecting the conditions array within status for a resource. They also include origin of conditions, and so we want to use this as a shortcut to have it's a shortcut to using expand, but on a reduced set of data. This only applies to cases where it's directly inside the resource and not part of a links object. So something like a log entry, because every single log entry will contain origin of conditions, and if you do a get on the entries array, then you're going to have an immediate explosion of data. So we want to avoid that. So we also added discovery capabilities of this within the event service and within service route, so you can see if your service does support this new query parameter. And so from an SSE perspective, which is where this was originally driven, this just looks like the typical SSE URI, but with the inclusion of the origin of condition query parameter. It's just a single value, no a single parameter, no additional value needed. All right, the other change worth mentioning were some clarifications and additions we made to the port resource. So it was pointed out that all the writable properties for setting up a configured speed and a configured width were all in the context of auto negotiation. And so the structure today is you have an array of allowable speeds and widths that can be applied as part of auto negotiation when you bring up your link with another port. But what we were missing was the fact that you can't just statically apply it outside the context of auto negotiation. So we added a couple of new root level properties, configured speed gigabits per second and configured width. So if you have auto negotiation disabled, you can manually say, I want this speed and this width on this port. We also added an indicator in the array of link configuration objects for auto negotiation to call out what link technology to apply this to. So there are many devices that are that support multiple technologies. So you could have an adapter that could be in Ethernet mode or fiber channel mode. And so specifying the different auto negotiation policies based on the technology was needed. And then lastly, we also clarified that, if you don't have this array configured at all, then auto negotiation is completely unconstrained on the device, and it's really up to the device's own rules for auto negotiation. All right, the last major change to go over, we added new security mode management capabilities in Redfish. And so we achieve this by adding a security mode and an update security mode action to the manager resource. And the main driving factor is to allow a user to do inspection of their system and apply any sort of regulatory types of configurations. So the classic example is, I want to make sure my BMC is operating in FIPS 148-3 compliance mode. And so this property and this action is used to help that use case. Unlike other properties, typically if you want to change a setting, you just simply patch the property. But this type of setting typically has a lot of side effects on the manager, which is why we made the property read only, but included an action to change the setting. So typically when you apply this type of security setting, you're also going to be clearing out non-volatile data, resetting the manager so it can come up fresh with the new policy in place. And the other restriction we typically see on these types of modes is if you can't just simply clear out the security mode, you have to reset your manager to default. So we give a bit of guidance that, if you're trying to decommission and just revert everything to your original state, then just invoke reset to default. You don't actually have to specify a security mode of none or any other awkward semantics like that. All right. So as a reminder, we do have several guide-related documents available that come in as part of every release. We have DSP 0268, the Redfish data model specification. This takes all the long descriptions and all the normative text out of the schema and creates a single document for that. It's really intended for both the service and client developers. So if folks are not looking to jump right into schema, they have a human readable document available. Then we have the resource and schema guide, which just looks at more the short descriptions and gives that same more human readable format of the entire data model. We also have the Redfish message registry guide, which presents all the different standard messages into a single document. And then we have the Redfish property guide, which gives us the alphabetical list of all the properties defined in the Redfish schema. So if you're a schema writer and you want to look for existing properties and definitions, that might be a first place you look to see if there's anything you can leverage. And as a reminder, we also have our Redfish publications repository. So lately we've been taking our periodic releases, our schemas, registries, and we've been populating them into a hardened Redfish publications repo. So this gives you a public durable location to reference the latest schema and registry definitions. This is a read-only repository, but it gives you the ability to use Git and other software tools to automatically synchronize your definitions with the latest DMTF publications. So likewise, it contains all the CSDL, JSON schema, Open API, the RDE dictionaries, and all the JSON registry files. There's also open source tools available for conformance testing. We have three main tools we like to highlight. The Redfish Protocol Validator, which tests the Redfish service against all the HTTP level semantics, all the responses, all the status codes. Then we have the Redfish Service Validator, which is used to do all the data model inspections to make sure that a service conforms to the 8010 schema bundle. And then lastly, we have the Redfish Interop Validator, which validates a Redfish service against a profile which contains specific requirements to be implemented for a particular use case or customer. All right, so that concludes the webinar. We'll go into questions and answers. We did receive one question through the feedback. It's as DC systems evolve towards plus and minus 400-volt architectures, are there plans to support this use case in the Redfish model? The short answer is yes, but we need feedback for that. So if you're seeing new and emerging infrastructure architectures, please give us that feedback. A lot of us in DMTF are not the subject matter experts, so we need a little push sometimes.
And also, I think on that specific comment, we'd heard that from a few folks at the Open Compute project. So yeah, we're certainly taking some of that input, and yeah, it's simply a matter of telling us what the right answers are to put into the data model. And I think in the case of some of the things on the high voltage, it was just adding another couple valid enumerations to some of the existing properties. So we will absolutely put those in, and we can turn that kind of things around very quickly. So yes, please bring that feedback in. All right,
Okay.
and if I see no live questions, but yeah, if you would like to ask a question now, that's fine. If you prefer to do it outside of the recording, once we finish here, we will adjourn to a live roundtable where you can talk freely and not have to worry about being immortalized in the recorded video. So. Okay, seeing no other questions from the live participants, just a reminder, please, if you have any involvement or any desire to be involved in Redfish, there's lots of ways to do that. If you are just looking to use the spec or utilize products that implement Redfish, you can find materials through various means that we've provided. You can start at the Redfish developer portal at redfish.dmtf.org. That will link to all of our resources across the various sources in GitHub and so forth. Start there and go to everything. The standards are all the actual standards documents, the specs, the mockups, the schemas, and those bundles that we've mentioned. That's on the Redfish standards page, which is listed here at the top at the dmtf.org/standards/redfish. We also maintain a public user forum at redfishforum.com. So feel free to go there, ask any questions, and we will we do review everything that gets posted there. If you do have actual feedback and requests for enhancement to the specs and the schemas, you can formally submit that through the DMTF feedback portal. There's the URL there. You need to create an account on the DMTF site, and that's for us to be able to ensure that we have tracking as to who submitted the feedback for copyright and intellectual property purposes, but that does not sign you up for anything. There are no obligations, and nor will you get spammed for doing that. But lastly, if you really would like to help out, and we encourage you and your companies to join the DMTF and specifically the Redfish Forum within the DMTF, and be an active participant and help us continue driving the spec forward. All right, with that, thank you for your attention today, and you have a good day.